Hello everybody, welcome back to the Farming Simulator 25 map guide. Today we're going to take a look at Hermanns Hausen. But before that, this video is brought to you by Stephen Bond and Midwest Farmer. Thank you for being farm barons. So the Hermanns Hausen Map can be found over at the farmingsimulator.com website or the in-game downloadable content menu, and as of the 1.0 release, this map is available for all platforms. Now this map is approximately 362 megabytes in size, and while it is in the European maps category of the Mod Hub, the description states that this map really is of a fictitious location. Let's go ahead and read some of that description. This is the Hermanns Hausen map. It is based on the original Polish map, and the map is fictitious. There are some productions that can be purchased, and several pure sell points located on the map. The farm is a medium-sized farm, so this map has a single farm in it. There are 50 fields and some forest areas to farm. On the farm, there are chickens, sheep, cows for farm animals, and the sheep produce manure. And manure. I'm not sure why it's doubled up there, but oh well. There are 2 greenhouses, which you can use for making vegetables. Cowshed accepts bales. Added regional license plates. Mind you, this is a fictitious map, but okay. And added biomass and compost. Compost can be spread on the fields as fertilizer with a manure spreader. So it'll be interesting to see how we make this biomass and compost. With that, let's go ahead and make our way back over here to the map and take a look at the PDA. So this map is your typical island style map. We have water basically on 2+ sides of the map itself. We've got a little bit of land over here. We don't know if this extends out to a main landmass or maybe there's just some water out here. You're going to find a lot of these fields are going to be easily merged together if you wish to make larger fields. And overall, we have a forest down here to the south and a little bit of a forest here to the north. This map does have all the standard crops available to us Farm Sim 25. And if we take a look at what land we own at the start, we start out by owning Farmland ID 1, which does include a field, and that is going to be your main starting farm. Should you choose to load this map up with the own starting farm set to no, then the entire farm will be set up exactly how you'd see it here, including your starting machinery. So you'll just need $199,000 in order to buy this in order to get started. We also have Farmland ID 2 and Farmland ID 41 owned at the start. If we take a look at our crop counter, we do have the standard FS25 crop counter on this map. And if we look at our animals, like I said, we have a chicken coop, cow barn, and sheep barn set up here on the map. We do not have any animals at the start though. With respect to contracts, we do have contracts available, and we do have 2 greenhouses here at the starting farm. With respect to other productions, we have a bakery, we have a biogas plant, we have a dairy, a grain mill, we have a potato processing plant, a sawmill, we have a soup factory, and we have a spinnery. All of these are fairly standard as far as their inputs and outputs. With respect to sell points, I counted up approximately 6 different sell points locations on this map, and we also do have a train sell point. So that means we also have a train silo, so we can use that to extenuate our silo here at the main farm. We have approximately 10 productions, as I mentioned earlier, and with respect to our starting fleet, which we have regardless if we own the farm or not, we have the Amazon Sinio, we have the Amazon 4000 Super Cultivator, the Claas Arion 410 Tractor, Dutzfar 6135 CRV Shift Tractor, Great Plains Solid Stand 1500 Seeder, the Hardy Mega 1200L Sprayer for our herbicide and liquid fertilizer, the Half Pipe HP 20 Trailer, Massey Ferguson 7360 AL4 Harvester. We also then have a 25-foot grain header for that harvester and the N40BX header trailer. Then we wrap it all up with a 750 kilogram front weight. We do not have any hand tools, and this map also does not have any collectibles. Now, as far as our starting farm goes, we land here right by our farmhouse. So we do have a sleep trigger and wardrobe trigger here. with respect to what can be sold here at the farm. Well, all the buildings can be sold, but things that I found either impossible to sell or extremely difficult to sell were going to be the stone wall, or should I say portions of the stone wall. Certain gates, like this gate here, also was not able to be sold. And then there is some fencing around the side that also was permanently a part of this farm, as best as I can tell. So we do have a large farmer kiosk located right here as far as a sell point goes. We have our chicken coop, so we have our food there. We have our egg spawn point. We have our farm silo located right there with our dump and fill point. Lots of machine storage. As you can see. Here we have our sheep barn, so we have our food point. We have our straw point because our sheep are set up to produce manure. We have a manure heap for our sheep. And we're going to be able to store 35 sheep or purchase 35 sheep in this particular pen. Right next to that, we do have bale and pallet storage for 250 bales or pallets. We have a hay loft for hay and straw storage. Some open sheds. We have another manure heap, this time for our cows. We have our slurry point. We have our base game cow area here, so of course our food and straw is going to be inside. Then we have our milk and our cow trigger over here. 70 cows in this particular building. And it looks like our straw trigger is going to have to be inside of here. Interesting enough. We have our two greenhouses. So we have our pallet spawn point. We have our water point. And then inside, we're going to get to our activation. We have two three-sided silage bunkers located here as well, kind of in the middle of the farm. And that is pretty much it. We have our chicken buy point or delivery point here on the back. And we're able to put in 55 chickens in this coop. Now let's come back over here because I wanted to talk about this fence, this gate that we couldn't sell. So the fence that comes around this sheep area starts here and works its way around. I had difficulty selling a portion of this fence. It may have been this portion here that is a part of this brick retaining wall. So if you are looking to modify this particular farm, just note that while you can pretty much clear out the buildings here, you're going to struggle to completely clear out the area and then have a completely blank slate to fill in whatever you're looking to do. Let's get a little bit of altitude here. And I think you can see kind of a little bit of a resemblance of the Zelonka map right here. And something I noticed when I was looking at this map earlier is some of these houses have extremely short view distances set up. For example, that looks like an empty lot to some degree, doesn't it? Well, let's get a little bit closer. And you'll see, oh, there's a house. It's popped in. So this isn't just because I'm kind of down here flying around. If you're at ground level, right, you get to the point and presto, there's a house there. So I'd like to see this map get updated, and some of these structures that have very, very short view distances, I'd like to see those get fixed because, well, it can be rather disturbing as you're just kind of coming along in town here. And, well, houses just seem to pop into existence. Some when you are pretty darn close to them. Now, I don't know if this was set up because of a desire to reach some sort of performance metric for maybe consoles or lower end systems. But I can tell you what I was able to achieve on this map on my test system, which is using AMD integrated graphics and specifically the 780M chipset. Set at 40 TDP, so 40 watt, as far as total power to the CPU and GPU, I was seeing frames anywhere between 30 to 40s. Now, of course, with frame gen, that to your eye is 60 to 80s. Now, I did see when I was over in this southern area where we have pretty dense forest, I did see and feel frames drop down into the 20s, which caused the perception to the eye to have that frame rate drop down around 40. So overall, fairly good frame rates for a map like this on a lower end system. But again, you may find if you venture a little bit too close to that southern forest, frames drop if you have maybe a little bit lower powered system. But again, these houses that just kind of appear out of nowhere, I would like to see those get corrected, because it's just a couple different models of house that are scattered here and there and yonder that really just suddenly poof into existence. So here we have our starting farm, and right to the north of that starting farm, we do have the biogas plant. Fairly standard BGA. Of course, you will need to purchase the BGA in order to make use of it. We have our digester there, we have our interactive trigger, and our digestate output. Here at the BGA, we do have one large 3-sided silage bunker. And then this is going to be our fill point, it looks like, possibly for compost. Let's check. Let's go back here and take a look once again at our BGA. Yes, biomass. So the BGA is also going to produce that biomass, and that is going to come out right here. And then I assume biomass is the equivalent of compost that we can then spread on our fields. If we come here to our vehicles, you'll see that we do not have any mods or DLCs associated with this map. But if we come here to our manure spreaders, we can see we now have the ability of doing manure, what looks like biomass, and then we have another icon here for compost. So let's check and see. Can we buy compost? I'm not seeing where we can buy compost. Let's check miscellaneous. Although it should have shown up in the kind of custom vehicles and implements area tied to the map if we do have the ability to purchase compost. So I don't believe that we do. So somehow we are supposed to convert biomass into compost. I've seen it done before where we use a silage bunker. No, that's for chaff. Let's check these. Make sure these are both for chaff. That one is, as is that one. So I'm not really sure what's going on with that, but we do have some way of converting biomass into compost. Just north of our BGA and over here to our left, we have a supermarket sell point. And the trigger for that is here around the back. We also have a sell point here at our... Well, let's see, what is this? So this is going to be our bakery. Okay. Well, this view distance is just so short, it's like non-existent. Same with whatever's supposed to be there, but okay. We have our animal dealer. Zielonka animal dealer, right? So we have our slurry, we have our manure buy point there, we have our animal dealer sell point, and we have our animal dealer buy point there. That's straight off of Zielonka. To the northwest, we have our soup factory. So we have our dump point, we have our interactive point, and our pallet spawn point there. Continue to make our way across. You can see how it's fairly easy to merge these fields. There really isn't anything but painted textures here for roads and such. Over here we have our flour mill. Like seeing the waterway and the chute. That's pretty cool. Our train sell point is off here. Just kind of terminates at some rock. And then we come over here, and this is where we're going to have our rent train icon. And our sawmill. Further down the line, we're going to have our, again, short view distance. We saw that thing pop in there, right? So here we have our train transfer silo. Transfer product to and from the train and to and from the trailer. And then there should be a rent train graphic around here somewhere, right there by the knocked over sign. Continue to make our way to the southeast corner of the map. We have our train line that continues out to infinity, and that is, of course, going to be our train sell point. Making our way over here, we have our biomass heating plant. Now, the description did talk about biomass and the ability to do compost. So let's see if this is some sort of production that we can buy. Well, it's like it is, but I can't click on it. And I don't see an activation icon here to buy the land in any way. Wait, what's this? It's a wood cell trigger. So just to test something, I went ahead and purchased all farmland. I did it via console command because, of course, we couldn't click on this in order to select it in any way. So it's either not coded well, properly, or it's somehow associated with some other farmland that when I just click on this, it's not activating. Either way, I've now purchased all the farmland on the map via console command, but still there isn't any other triggers that pop up here. And if we look at our production, well, we don't have any additional production listed. Something else that I was looking over is with respect to build mode. All of our build mode options are standard. We don't have any extra buildings here that are tied in with the map. So if you think, we go to factories, and if we scroll down here at the bottom, we should see any custom factories, like one to take biomass and make into compost, but it's just not listed here. So I'm not really sure, again, what is going on with respect to the overall compost production. Now, this is that forest I mentioned that on my lower end system I was seeing frames drop down in the 20s. So just be cautious if you are coming down this way. You may have some frame drops. And then again, you can kind of see how easy it's going to be to merge these fields together. Overall, the fields are fairly flat with some subtle changes in elevation, but you shouldn't have too many issues whatsoever with respect to maybe using underpowered tractors for the machinery if you're going to be doing some field work. But we do have very wide areas around all the fields, so you shouldn't have any issues whatsoever with hired help or, again, expanding these to increase your operations. Now let's come back here to where our starting farm is, which is right there, just down the street, kind of to the east a little bit. We do have our vehicle shop. So we have our shop activation icon right here. And let's go ahead and pick something up. What in the world? I literally just bought something at the shop and spawned, well, underneath the map. Where am I even at? I'm way over here. Let's see if I can replicate this. Let's turn off fly mode just to confirm something. And we'll go and buy our Mahindra. And I am under the map again. So, we definitely need to get that fixed in a future update. I'm not really sure how that cleared not only Giants testing, but just map author testing themselves. We have our dealer trigger here in order to maintain our vehicles and our implements. Thankfully, we didn't fall through the map clicking on that one. And then if we make our way south of the starting farm, we're going to come over here to our spinnery, I believe. Yes. Yes, indeed. Further down the road, we have our fuel dealership. We have our dairy production. Here we have farmers market sell point, as well as a lime buy station. Tucked back here behind the dairy. This is going to be our potato processor, I believe. And then we have one more sell point located over here at this kind of dock area. And that, folks, that is the map. That is Hermanns Hausen. Now, I'd like to know what you all think of this map. I think it needs to go back in the oven and cook a little bit longer. Quite frankly, I'm a little concerned about the shop trigger just dropping you underneath the map. And again, these super short view distances on these houses. Right? That just needs to be corrected, because that can really be kind of immersion breaking, to use the term, when you are just kind of driving down these roads and then suddenly you have a house just appear out of nowhere. Or in case of some houses, they're just, I guess Wonder Woman lives here and she has an invisible house. But the invisibility didn't kind of carry over to all of her belongings. Once again, let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. And until next time, happy farming.